Relative pronoun. What is relative pronoun? Relative pronoun, that is a very tricky. The usage and application of relative pronoun, very important for examination point of view. Always question will come an MDK test, an ITA test as well. So that is very important for competitive examination. What is relative pronoun? It is a word. So relative pronoun is a word which introduces a relative clause. So relative clause needs explanation. What is relative clause? Relative clause is something which gives more information about noun. Which gives more information about noun. Which will give information about noun. What type of information? It will be in the form of antecedent. It will be in the form of antecedent. So relative clause will give more information about noun which is in the main clause. Which is in the main clause. Maybe the subject of the main clause, maybe, but we can say almost it will be the subject of the main clause. For example, the boy who works hard succeeds in examination. The boy who works hard succeeds in the examination. So the boy, that is the noun. Who, relative pronoun. Works hard, succeeds in the examination, that is the relative clause. This relative pronoun creates this relative clause. This relative pronoun creates, because who, that is relative pronoun. This who relative pronoun creates relative clause here. Works hard, succeeds in the examination, that is relative clause. This relative clause is going to define the boy. The boy is the noun of that relative clause. The noun of that relative clause. And in grammar, we will call the boy is antecedent. What is antecedent? Antecedent is a noun within relative clause or pronoun within relative clause. Maybe a noun or pronoun in the relative clause through which relative pronoun refers. Through which relative pronoun refers. So this relative pronoun who is giving reference to the relative pronoun the boy. To the noun the boy. And the boy we will call antecedent. The boy we will call antecedent. So MCQs can come. For example, detect antecedent within this sentence. So we will detect antecedent. So the boy who works hard succeeds in the examination. This sentence will be given and we will detect antecedent or relative pronoun within this. So this MCQs can come. It is very important that we can detect antecedent as well. So the noun to which relative pronoun refers, this is called antecedent. So the boy here is an antecedent. Boy here is an antecedent and the boy is a noun. This noun is defined by, is explained by, is giving information by the relative clause. By the relative clause. So one important grammatical restriction is that antecedent we will place as near as possible, relative pronoun we will place as near as possible to its antecedent. If we are placing this relative pronoun away from its antecedent, it will change its meaning. So this is necessary, this is essential, that relative pronoun must be placed near to its antecedent is possible. So the boy noun, it performs the function morphologically, it performs the function of an antecedent who, that is relative pronoun, and works hard succeed, that is relative clause. So according to the definition, it is a word that introduces a relative clause which provides more information about noun in the main class. So that is main class as well, and main class, that is relative class as well, and that gives information to the noun which performs the function of an antecedent. So what are relative pronouns? Now we are going ahead towards the relative pronoun. What are various relative pronouns? So relative pronouns who, that is relative pronoun, which, relative pronoun, that, relative pronoun, what, relative pronoun, is, relative pronoun, is will, relative pronoun. So these are relative pronoun which will be according to this definition. Then usage. First of all, usage of who. How we will use who? Who is subjective case. Whose possessive or genitive case. Whose is possessive or genitive case. And whom, that is objective case. Whom, that is objective case. So where we can use who? Who can be used for person only. Who can be used for person only. It can't be used for animal, be in mind. It can't be used for non-living thing. So you can detect grammatical flaw if we are using who for animal or for non-living things. Who will be used only for person. The example above, the boy who works hard. So the boy that is living, who works hard, who can be used in the part of subject in subjective form. So who, relative pronoun, and the boy in an antecedent. Whose, the genitive or possessive case of who. Whose is the genitive or possessive case of who. So whose, that is possessive or genitive case, can be used for non-living things, for animal as well. For non-living things, for animal as well. It can be used for person as well, but in rare cases. Mostly that is used for living, for non-living, as well as for a human or person can be used. So the sun, whose rays gives life to earth, worshipped by the ancient people. Worshipped by the ancient people. The sun, noun in this sentence. Noun of the main class. Whose, relative pronoun. Rays gives life to earth. That is the relative class. This relative class tells us about the sun. The sun is the noun according to the definition. And the sun, that is antecedent as well. That is antecedent of the relative pronoun, because relative pronoun whose refers to its antecedent. Again, I will repeat that an antecedent must be placed is near to a relative pronoun, or we can say relative pronoun must be placed is near to its antecedent is possible. Because if we are placing relative pronoun far away in a sentence, it will change its meaning. So the use of whose, genitive case of who, and then use of whom, genitive case, objective case of who. Whom is the objective case of who. So who is subjective case? Whom is objective case. Whom will be in the form of subject. Whom will be in the form of subject. Whom can be used for respect as well. When we are giving respect to someone, we will use whom in place of who. So be in mind, that is very important. When we are giving respect to someone, we can use whom. We will not use who. For example, in case of father, when we are giving respect to father, we can't use who. My father who is? My father who I saw. That will be wrong. That will be the wrong usage. If we are using my father who I saw, my father whom I saw, because we will give respect. So for respect, whom can be used, and whom is the objective case of who. So according to the usage of whom can be used for person only. Whom can be used for person only. The rest of relative pronoun, which, date, what, is, I will discuss in another lecture. Thank you very much.